Okay, good morning, good morning. We're gonna go ahead and get our Friday coffee started. So glad that everybody is here today. I'm Susan from the Chamber, and first off, I do want to thank our sponsors for today, Align Chiropractic. We're gonna go around and do introductions, but we'll hear more from them. So thank you, Align Chiropractic and then Cumulus Media for helping us sponsor today. Okay. Get our PowerPoint moving here.
Okay, good try.
There we go. Glad to have our folks joining us online on Zoom. Just note, everybody is muted now, just so that disrupts any background noise. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Revea is going to be monitoring that, or we'll give everybody an opportunity to unmute yourself for introductions, and then of course also unmute yourself if you want to make some announcements at the end of our meeting. So we do ask that you don't record any part of this meeting for future use, and we have our presentation by the library later, and we ask that you not record that. So let's go ahead and start with introductions around the room. Natalie, why don't we just go around, even though you're going to turn? Okay.
I'm Natalie with the library.
I'm Claudia with the library.
Jay Moore with Chamber staff.
I'm Ashley with Cap Region.
Roger Brisley, Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development.
Kidman with Central Bank.
Jennifer Schrader, Central Bank. Laura Adelazo, I'm owner of High Street Retreat.
Kirsten here with Council for Youth. Andrea Holloway with Council for Youth.
Good morning, my name is Ralph Joe, Cole County Public Administrator.
Mia Chief of the library.
Frank Pricey, Evening Rotary.
Dan Basil, Home Helpers.
Virginia Steiger with Coast Builders. Michelle Weaver, Union Station.
Bob Fenwell.
Carrie Turgeon, the mayor.
Derek Rondo with Ford Mortgage.
I'll say it wrong.
Gordon Helsher, Cameron.
Mark Millsap, and the new GM at the HPP.
Gary Plummer with the Chamber.
Erica with the Line Chiropractic. Angel with the Line Chiropractic.
Revea, Chamber staff.
Good, good, okay. And for those that are joining us on Zoom, if you want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself, that would be great. We want you to start.
Good morning, Stu Murphy.
Good morning, Jamie Meyer with RMI.
Good morning.
Dennis
Jeremy
Heckman with Civil Design.
Hi, Stephanie Lehman.
Okay, we'll try
Stephanie
that.
Lehman, CNS Business Services. Sorry.
And I'm
Darcy Crane, American Cancer Society.
Jeff Briggs, Library Board.
Daryl Mantle, Central Trust Company.
Anybody else want to introduce themselves? Okay, we'll move on then. I do want to welcome some new members that we have to the Chamber. Our new members for this last month, since we had our Friday coffee before, Clear Vision Development Group, Tony Richards, Edward Jones, Josh Bryant with Edward Jones, Fletcher Performance and Paint, that exact Fletcher, KJLU, Mike Downey, Rinkemeyer and Rinkemeyer Investments, Glenn Rinkemeyer, and Samuel F. Gerhardt, Marine Corps League, help me, DET, detach, help me with that abbreviation. I am sorry, Alan Sandy. Well, Alan Sandy, when he comes to our next Friday coffee, our new member welcome, he can kind of school us on that abbreviation. I apologize, I don't know that. But we welcome those new members. I'm glad to have them at the Chamber. And I don't know if anyone was on Zoom that I just introduced, if you are. Okay, well, good. Hope to see you in the future, Friday coffee. So, and now I'm going to call up Angel and Erica from Align Chiropractic because they are our sponsor and they've got a little information to share. So I'll pass the clicker over to you girls. You can drive now. Oh, right there. Angel, you're driving. Unless you want me to do that. Oh, Erica, you got to come over here or you'll be in the spotlight for today. There
sorry. Okay, by the way, I'm Erica. I am the CA with Line Chiropractic.
I'm Angel, I'm the PR, I go around businesses and bring you and your employees some free lunch and free screenings, so if you're ever interested in that, I'd love to talk to you.
So we are here with Line Chiropractic, and our goal is to achieve the same healing and wellness for anybody of any age at any fitness level. We find it rewarding to help people regain their health so they can pursue whatever their interests may be without drugs or surgery. Everything we do comes from the perspective of understanding your personal goals and helping you achieve them, and we are confident that we can get anybody better at any age.
Dr. Brandon Johns.
That's the owner, Brennan's on vacation, and we're gonna be here, but we would love to have to, go. This is Dr. Warman. She is excellent. She's on our west side, so we have two locations. We have one on the west side, next to Columbia College, and on the east side next to Summit. Well, that's me.
Oh, there's Angel.
So my name is Dr. Brandon Johns. I'm the owner of Align Chiropractic Clinic. Our goal is to make sure people know what an appropriate first choice for care is, and that's chiropractic care.
We do other techniques for soft tissue manipulation to treat muscle tissues as well as tendons.
The technique for chiropractic in children and babies has to be a little bit more gentle.
When you choose Align Chiropractic Clinic for your health care, you're in the right place at the right time, and we will get you better.
So you have a door prize to give away?
We do,
Yes.
yes. Does anybody have any questions about us?
Okay.
Is it Angie?
Angie Mayo.
Angie. I'll take a picture of the three of you guys here with the goods.
So my name is Dr.
Hey, Angie, and hold that.
Okay, thank you. All right, all three.
This was not rigged.
I appreciate your sponsorship, and as I mentioned, Cumulus, Rochelle, do you want to tell them a little bit more about the sponsorship?
Sure, besides getting to come here on a Friday, we work with Susan to be Friday sponsor, coffee sponsor. You'll also work with me, Cumulus Meeting. We have 7 radio stations in the market. We have digital products. We talk to close to 200,000 people each week in our community. And what we'll do is also meet with Dr. Johns now, or maybe one of his team members here. We'll craft a 30-second ad and we'll be running on one of our radio stations.
Good. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna do some announcements before we have our program, and first announcement is social media forum. This is an event that we have every month, just like this. It's in this room. I'm gonna let Natalie talk about it because she and her husband Kenny actually facilitate that for us, and we appreciate them so much for that. So tell us.
Yeah, so this month we're going to talk about how to create a cohesive social media campaign. So whatever your marketing goals are, how you can fit social media into that to have your best return on investment. So you guys will join us. You can always bring lunch. It's very informal, but we try to make it a lot of fun.
Third Wednesday every month, right? Another that we have is Chamber Connections, and that is actually at Johnny's Backdoor Lounge. If you have not had the opportunity, we've all gone to Oscars, and you might think of Oscars as a great breakfast or lunch. It's a great diner, but it also has this Johnny's Backdoor Lounge that opened out last year. Jefferson Bank is our sponsor. That's July 21st. Always on the third Thursday from 4 to 5:30. So I encourage you to attend that, bring your business cards, and it's a real informal way for you get to meet other chamber members and see some neat places that maybe you wouldn't have gone before. So Chamber Connections is always on the third Thursday. Another event that we're very excited about is the Chamber Gala, the Gala Social, Fiesta de la Gala. It is September 9th. Did you notice I just rolled off my tongue that? You know? Yeah. Jose, what do you think about that? Jose's on the committee, and I have several people that in this room that are on the committee, but this photo is from the Gala Social we had last year, and This was a format that we adopted because of COVID, our traditional, we're in, all dressed up in winter in the ballroom and a table of 10 for our award ceremony. Oh, yes. So this format was so much fun. We were at Canterbury Hill Winery, and our theme last year was Havana Nights, and so our committee got together and we said, well, what can we do to make that just as much fun? And great for our members. We recognize our leaders, and we give away some awards, and we just socialize and have a great time. So it's September 9th. Canterbury Hill Winery. Now, we do have sponsorship opportunities where your company can be recognized and you get some tickets to the event and recognition. And we're doing that right now until next week. And then we will have opportunities if you want to just purchase 1 or 2 tickets. It's $65 a person. So I was asked that. We're working on our sponsorships right now, but obviously you will be able to purchase other tickets too. So I appreciate my co-chairs, that's Janet Inlow and Travis Stevens are leading that. And I think it's been a great time. So another great event, and I'm looking around the room. Do I have anybody in the leadership class? All right, there you go. Oh yeah, we have a couple. You too. Tell us all about this. Which one wants to talk? All right.
Our leadership class is once again doing Battle of the Brew. So that's Saturday, July 23rd. You can purchase tickets online, or I'm sure the chamber has sent out multiple emails about it. But we really hope that you come support us. We are supporting 4 nonprofits that are also in our leadership class. So RACS, Jefferson City Public School Foundation, Council for Drug Free, no, not Council for Drug Free, she's in our leadership class.
Building, yeah.
And CASA.
Yeah.
What time and what price?
And how much beer?
I think it's from 4 to 8, and it is $35 at the sale and $40 at the gates.
And I think we may have some flyers at the front desk there when you go out that gives more details. A lot of great sponsors have supported this event. I know your class has worked very hard on it, very serving charities and just wonderful. At the amphitheater, what a wonderful setting to be. So good. Congratulations on that, guys. Okay, and with that, our quick announcements are done, and we're going to turn it over to the ladies. That's from the library, Claudia and Natalie.
Looks like I'm on the wrong side. I am Claudia. I'm the director of Missouri River Regional Library, and we've had a long journey across the street this morning. Our main building is at 214 Adams, and a fun fact, the building and I are the same age. We'll talk about that later. You can see an artistic rendering there at the top. And we also serve Osage County as well as Cole County. A lot of people don't know that. And we have a branch in Lynn. And for a very long time, we had a location behind the Dollar General. And now the Dollar General's moved, and so have we. We had an opportunity to buy Deutsches Heim. They had a large furniture store and a deli, and it was more square footage than they wanted. And so they sold it, and they downsized and built a coffee shop right next to the library. How great is that? So we bought this location that my kids always say looks like a Cracker Barrel. And it does kind of look like a Cracker Barrel. And we renovated it and opened it right before the pandemic. We moved in February of 2020, and then we immediately shut it down for about 7 weeks. I had never had the experience of moving a whole library until then. And it's kind of like the big book sale that we have out at the St. Martin's Knights of Columbus, where it's almost as if you pack up the whole library across the street and then move it in a week. It was kind of like that, maybe not quite as big, but it was very challenging, but the result is fantastic. And Osage County residents own their branch library for the first time ever. We have a bookmobile, and you see that around town. It travels not as much as it used to. The bookmobile service was always for county residents. It was a way for us to serve the county and provide library services, bring them to where those folks are at. And then now we have, the modern world has library lockers. And these library lockers can be found at the Capitol Mall. And we also have a set of them in Osage County and Westphalia. We had some at Nita and the mini mart closed, and so we have to find another space for them. But the lockers make the library convenient for you. So when we partner with a business and can find a space for it, then you can put a hold on your items and then the staff will bring them to you. And when you're ready to come pick them up and the business is open, you scan your card. I started to punch it in. You scan your card and it actually pops the locker open, and then the material's already checked out for you. So it's really handy, and I'd like it if we would be able to put more of those in the county. They're just something that it's different than the bookmobile. We just can't, in the modern world in which we live and people are working, it's hard to serve people in the middle of the day or for an hour or two in the evening. And this is a really good alternative for us. So we use the bookmobile sometimes, and then of course then we supplement with the lockers. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the services that we provide. And we provide all the same traditional services that we always have. Those of you in the room, the ones, the books, the story times, the things that you normally associate with the library, we do all of that, but we do a whole lot more than just that. And what's really important in the library world right now is instruction, access. Access is so very important, to be able to access the internet, access resources, continuing education opportunities, access to technology and instruction. And so you'll see up here on the right-hand side of the screen that we're having an author presentation. It's our Capitol Read event that took place last year with local New York Times best-selling author Alan Eskins. And I'm going to take a moment to tell you that the Capitol Read this year is Gary Kramer's new book on Missouri, Place of Promise. So you look forward to that. And he's a wonderful speaker. But Alan was in town to talk about his book and had a huge crowd because, like I said, he's a local boy. We've had numerous people speak about all kinds of topics. And we have a wonderful program with Lincoln University right now, where Lincoln University's professors come over and talk about things that they're studying. And it's what do you call it, Natalie? It's like going to class but not having,
You don't have the homework.
You don't have the homework.
All the interesting stuff you know to do the work.
And it's been going on for 3 years, and it's phenomenal. They also give their students extra credit, so it gets them in the door. And you wouldn't believe some of the things that they have, that they've discussed. I've been to a few of their programs, and you know, for instance, marketing and its influence on us, imagine that. What it gets us to do and how it affects us, the science of losing weight.
They talked about like the first female pirates. They talked about mummies, like it's all super interesting topics that you don't realize that we have experts who live in our community to talk about.
That's right, it's not dry, it really isn't. And so we also record those so people can watch them on our website, because you know how it is, you're busy, you got something going on, and then somebody says, oh, I went to this and it was really great, it's too bad you missed it. Don't you hate that? So now we have them available, and so all those Lincoln lectures are on our website and available for you to access from the comfort of your own home. So those sorts of programs we have from you know, little bitty sensory play, toddler nap times, story times, teen programs, new adult programs. You asked what a new adult is. People apparently don't like to be called millennials anymore, so the libraries call them new adults. They're not old yet. I was going to say, I'm a millennial. It's just not their identity. It's a strange thing to navigate, but we have programs for literally all ages. At one point in time, when I started at the library 26 years ago, we mainly focused on kids. And that's how it was for such a long time. And then, you know, an occasional program for an adult, but really our calendar, which is right in front of you, you can see that every day has something going on. Our every day is practically booked with events, and we're using our three meeting room spaces pretty much all the time, along with trying to balance the need for meeting room space in this community and people asking us to meet at the library. So there's so much of that going on. Did my slide go away? Okay.
I thought you were done.
Well, I wanted to point out a couple of things. This is an example of a program, a lot of things that we do, where we bring an expert in and talk about bicycle maintenance. We did this in the park. We do that about so many things. So some of our programs are very, very interactive, and you learn something and take it with you. Angie's made bread for people and jam, and maybe it's preserves.
I did both, but online it was preserved.
Yes, so we do things like that with people, and it's all about enhancing your quality of life. That's what the library is all about. We want you to become your best self with many of the resources we have. And we have music in the library. We have several groups perform in the library. We used to be able to have concerts at the Capitol at one point in time, and maybe that'll happen again. But we decided to bring music in the library and have people enjoy. So people have actually brought their camp chairs and filled the downstairs and listened to music live in the library. We also have programs in our meeting room space with local musicians. We have a gallery upstairs, and we feature local artists as well. So there's just a lot going on at the library, and we want to be the center of our community and an active, engaged participant in this community. So.
Some other things that would pertain especially to people who are members of the chamber. We have a business center, so you can come print items there. We have computers, we have laptops, free internet, all of that stuff that's available to you. We also have a 3D printer, and a lot of times people think of the 3D printer as something that just builds little tchotchkes you can put on your desk. But we have people who, like their children are in wheelchairs and need accessibility tools, so they're able to print those accessibility tools for their kids. So for those, there is a cost for the 3D printer. It's like 10 cents a gram. I feel like I'm selling drugs when I say that. It's not, but it's a great tool that we have. And then also all of our other technology options. So we have ebooks, we have e-audio books. If you're paying for Audible, please go home and cancel your subscription as soon as you leave here. We have everything that Audible has, but it's free. So please go do that. We also have all kinds of trainings that your staff can take or your employees can take. A lot of it's online. So LinkedIn Learning is a big one. Our staff uses it for continuing education, but you can learn how to do finances, how to market, really any topic that you can think of that you want to learn about, customer service. We have for free in a database that you can do from your office or your home. Also reference solutions, you have a brochure about that as well. That is one of our resources that I think can be so impactful for our local businesses, and it's just not one that a lot of people know about. So we use it at the library anytime, like right now, we're doing a bunch of outreach stuff out in Wardsville. So we're bringing programming out to the Wardsville area. So we were able to go into that database, sort by Wardsville addresses, and mail them postcards, and the list was free. So a lot of times you have to purchase those kind of lists. We've also used them for our Read and Feed program last year, where we did boxes of food and books for low-income kids who maybe didn't have access to lunch during the summer. And so we were able to go in and sort like walking distance with a certain home income level, thank you. And then if they have kids in the home, and then we were able to mail them postcards. So a lot of times those lists cost a lot of money. They're free with your library card. Please go use it. And then some other ones we have are Gale legal forms. I don't know that I would say, hey, go set up your like trust with that. But if you're doing basic legal stuff, renter agreements, that kind of stuff, you can do all of that for free. And it's like plug and drop. So you can just put your name, put their name, and it auto fills the forms. So all kinds of really great resources for you and your business, and that you can use your funds in other ways. Yes.
You access your website and then click on these?
Yes.
Yep, and then you just type in your library card number.
Yes.
Yes, and a lot of times you'll also need your 4-digit PIN, and if you don't know what that is, you can call the library and they can reset it and help you figure that out. And then the last thing that we also kind of wanted to talk about, we have a notary public at the library, also free. The hours are posted on our website, but if you need to do it on a time that isn't listed, you can always call and see if she's working. So we do have the notary public. We also have a thing called form assistance. So this kind of came about, we found a lot of people, especially with the pandemic, who were trying to apply for assistance or jobs, and they just didn't understand the forms. So we have a staff member who will sit down with them and help them fill out those forms, which has been super helpful. And then our one-on-one tech time, I like it because I know Stu's on Zoom, so thank you, Stu. So our one-on-one tech time is great if you get a new device, you have a phone, a computer, some piece of technology that you're tired of asking your children to help you with, and your children are tired of helping you with, or grandchildren. You can come in, we promise our staff will not roll their eyes at you, they will just help you. And so it's a great service that we have, super beneficial. It seems like it always bumps up like after Christmas, like everyone gets new phones and new computers and then they come in. But
Or
our
we go
staff
talk
are
to
great.
people.
Yes, yeah, after this, usually we'll get a lot of people who show up. So all of that stuff is really great. And these are all the things that we're kind of doing right now. This is a very brief, we shortened it for all of you because a lot of you guys have heard us talk about this stuff before. And really what we want to talk about is kind of where the libraries come from and where we're headed. So we have a little video to show you to start with.
Library service began in our community in 1898 when a subscription library was formed. In 1899, two prominent Jefferson City residents approached Andrew Carnegie in hopes of securing a monetary gift to build the city's first free public library. Mr. Carnegie agreed and donated $25,000 for a new library building. The Carnegie Library was dedicated in 1902. Our current building at 214 Adams was built between 1970 and 1974 and dedicated in the spring of 1975. A third floor was intended and needed all along, but taxpayer money was collected in advance, and when it came time to build, costs had increased. The library board at the time built what they could afford, and the dream of that third floor was deferred. Our library building has served us well for the last 50 years, and we believe now is the right time to prepare it for the next 50 years of library service. We not only have an opportunity to address critical building issues, but to expand public spaces and create the kind of innovative and vibrant library that will help us increase our ability to impact lives.
Major upgrades are needed to extend the life of the building. As we look at the practical renovations that must be completed, it's the perfect time to plan for the next 50 years and to envision what is possible. Regardless of what happens, there are certain things that the library has to do to move forward. Those include better ADA accessibility in the building, including larger bathrooms, larger elevators, more space between our aisles, and shorter shelves. A stronger and more robust electrical and networking infrastructure to meet today's technology needs. Small and large indoor meeting spaces for the community, including a teaching kitchen and a maker space, as well as a recording studio for podcasting and video editing. A technology training lab and business incubator for job skill development, comprehensive computer classes, and business support. Inviting outdoor spaces on every level of the library, including a reading garden and space for programming for all ages. Expanded outreach services, including locker systems throughout Jefferson City and Cole County.
To achieve the library's full potential, we need your help. Together, we can write a new story, a story we can all tell, a story where the library achieves its original destiny, and a story that will continue to unfold over the next 50 years.
So now you know how old I am. 50, and I need some work too. The library is what we're here to talk about today and our hopes and dreams for it. So you heard Natalie say in the video that we have some critical issues that will have to be addressed no matter what.
And our hope is that we can dream bigger while we're doing those things and expand, because whatever we do with the library, that space will enable us to do more of the great things that we're doing, different sorts of things, and to equip the library to move forward for the next 50 years. You know, they always say that you don't plant trees for yourself, you do that for the next generation, and that's what we're talking about here. So to this end, in 2020, well, and prior to that, I'll take you back a couple of years. In 2018, we were in this building right across the alley that the county's recently purchased and renovated. And so we moved there in 2006 and renovated our building to give it more space. The children's department was incredibly small, and we had a huge boardroom. And so we renovated the library. About 20 some people moved across the street from 2006 to 2018. And then we had to move out. We had some mold issues, and the landlord wanted to sell the building. And so we found ourselves needing to move everybody back in. And we took more public space away from our people, and had to create offices. And then our administrative staff moved into Ron Dawson's building in Power Missouri Building 308. And that's where we are. So I hope someday to be in the same place as everybody else. The Capital Facilities Committee. So we're comprised of a library board, and we have committees, and the Capital Facilities Committee had been meeting for years talking about our options because of our space issues. And so finally, we decided to focus on this building, that we put all our efforts into this building. Instead of trying to build a branch on the west side of town or build a new building somewhere, you know, in a completely different location, the committee decided that that's what we would do. So we hired an architectural firm after going through an RFP and Q process, and they worked with us and created some conceptual designs. And you saw some of those in the video. So they did that in January of 21, and then came up with the final presentation in May of 2021. And right now things are kind of on hold as far as the architects and what they're going to do. We have recently put together a capital campaign. Gabe and Becky Halsey are the co-chairs of that capital campaign. And so we will be trying to raise money for this project. As well, we've been good stewards of taxpayer money, and we'll use some of that for this project, but we will need community support. And that means that we will, at some point in time, ask for a tax increase.
The library has not had a tax increase since 1964.
That's right.
So we're operating off the same tax levy as then. So obviously we've had great staff who have done a really good job of making do with what we have. But as we sit here and talk about all the cool things we do, we know that there's so much more of an impact we can do with the community, and so many more gaps that we can fill and really help everyone succeed.
That's right. So that's our big plan. That's our dream. And we want to know if you have any questions or comments.
Are those arch renditions on that building?
Yes.
It looks like a totally different building.
Yeah, it will, the plan right now is it will be gutted. The nice thing is we've done some improvements like with our HVAC and that kind of stuff that we'll be able to keep. But with the elevators, the way they are right now and the way that wheelchairs are now, they're all bigger. So we have people who get stuck in the elevators, can't get into the elevators. We have families who aren't able to come to the library because the bathrooms aren't easy enough for them to navigate with it. So there's just a lot of things with the building that was built in the 60s, and then the accessibility options we have today, they just don't mesh very well. So in order to make the elevators bigger, we have to gut everything. And then to do all the improvements, to add a third floor, all of that.
The restrooms. What we're proposing is about 20,000 additional square feet. So it would build up and out into the park area. And yes, a lot of people say, oh, you lose the park. Well, the architects have found a way to have green space inside. And so their plan was that they would build a green space over our garage. And it'd be accessible from inside the building only, of course. It'd be a reading garden. And then they made sure that there was green space off the children's floor and also off the third floor. The third floor is where the major meeting rooms would be. And it'd probably be bigger than the meeting room that we have now. And it'd be able to be divided up depending on the size that's needed. And there'd be a meeting space on the children's floor just for children's programming alone. So plenty of green space is planned and all accessible for inside the building. And you can imagine that's really a lot more, it's ideal because we have more control over green space inside rather than green space outside.
Sorry, I have to be a neighbor, so.
Yeah, ask questions.
So what about parking?
Yes.
I mean, parking's tight now.
Parking is an issue. Last August, I went to the county commission. I spoke in a meeting and expressed interest in working together on parking. And so there are some properties nearby that I think have recently been obtained by the housing authority. Is that right there? Perhaps 410 and 14, yes. Yes, and so we know that in order to invest in our building and expand, that parking is critical. So we tried to reach out to the county, let them know our plans, and they're aware, and they know that we'd like to work together.
And parking was one of the main reasons why when we started this process a few years ago, that we started looking elsewhere, like looking at moving the library from out of downtown. But when we started doing the surveys with the community, that was like, people want the library downtown. And which if it's going to be downtown, we're always gonna have some kind of parking struggles. But yeah, there are some, that's built into as we kind of go down this process to see what we can figure out.
And the county's been very supportive. Our plans, we've talked to them. We've shown the city some more detailed conceptual plans, the final presentation that was given to our board of trustees and to our management staff. And who else have we talked? Well, of course, we've talked to the chamber, and we've been talking about this for a while. So it's not a secret. It's what we're focused on right now, and want people to know more about it. So as the capital campaign progresses, hopefully there'll be more publicity, right, Mark? So any other questions? Yes.
As far as.
It's still kind of up in the air right now. The capital campaign is happening right now. So at that point in time, our board is the one that will ultimately decide when and if we go out for a tax increase or a vote. And so it's kind of up to them, and we discuss it at every meeting. So, I think ideally in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to want to see ground broken and construction happening. But ultimately it's still up in the air.
The building was built between 70 and 74, so in a way, wouldn't that be great? It'd be around its birthday time. And it's a great building. The architects that we have worked with, it's kind of nice. It's like when somebody likes your kid, that you always I don't know. It was they tell us that it's just extremely well built and perfect for working, for an addition. And they came and they looked at the original blueprints, and they ended up scanning them and putting them in and using them in their presentation. And so I think they came at least three times before their big presentation to us. So we were really impressed with them, and we have been all along. They have said a lot of good things about our building, and we knew it was we knew it was a good building. We knew it was worth adding on to, but just have them come in and say
this will be perfect. It's just a perfect space to do something grander with.
So 2 questions, and maybe I missed part of it. But what is the total cost of the expansion and the addition? And assuming the voters pass the increase, what is the plan during the transition on how the services are going to be provided?
So the cost is still to be determined with the construction, inflation, all that happening right now. So that's our architects are working on that right now. For the plan, while we're under construction, ideally what we would do is we would move everything out of the library and find a temporary spot somewhere in town where we could still have a smaller collection. We would still do programming. But even then, like when we talk about how we would move for a while, it would probably be a year or 2 while we're gone, while the construction is happening. But that's still just us kind of assuming, like, all of those plans haven't been knocked out yet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Frank, did you have something?
Would you like to do anything with the Carnegie building if you could?
I mean, I think that we're all sentimental. We would love to have some way to incorporate it. Unfortunately, for the size of it, it's not big enough for what we need now. And again, with the accessibility, the way that it was built, it doesn't have a lot of what we would need for that. But we're all sentimental. So yeah, that would be great if we could somehow tie it all in together.
Who's the architect firm that's working?
It's called Date Wells.
Dan Wells?
They're out of Kansas City and Springfield. Yes. Yeah.
And I think they may have worked on another project or been considered for another city project. I don't know if anybody in the room knows or not, but yeah.
You know, since I looked at all of that. Andrea? Not yet. All of that's still, we're figuring all of that stuff out.
Well, we will definitely have more information on that in coming months.
Have you talked to the governor and the legislators about that extra money that we have in the state? Been quite a bit, and they're not doing that, as I understand it. At the last legislative review I went to a couple weeks ago, they're going to do the gun range and improve the highway patrol building. And I found out yesterday at work that's been nixed. So that money could be going toward a really great institution.
We have some meetings that we've set up for in August, so we're working on all of that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's been shared with us.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much. Here, I don't know if you have any comments or?
The only thing I'd like to do is announce that on August 12th, our Friday coffee will feature the new chief of police, Eric Willie. And we hope you all will join us for that.
Okay. All right. What about around the room? Does anybody have any announcements that they want to share about their business or maybe an organization that you are volunteering in or supporting?
The Piccadilly, which benefits the Downtown Association, is on August 6th. Tickets are on sale now online. We also have I think we have 4 table sponsors still available, and the deadline for that is next Friday.
And a new location.
Yes, we're gonna be on Madison in front of the governor's mansion, so it should be a fun, different spot.
They heard about the location, they were really excited, that natural shade, and it's gonna be so picturesque.
So we're gonna have the 360 photo booth. One of the winners from the Pitch It contest is gonna be our 360 photo booth. So.
Good.
What is it? I mean, what's it for?
It's the premier fundraiser for the Downtown Association. So it raises money for all the beautification, the Christmas lights, all the things that make downtown pretty that cost us lots of money.
There's eating and drinking and an auction.
And you wear walking,
Yes.
And you wear walking, Piccadilly. Okay, anybody else? I know, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I color coded the library today. Capital City Job Center, Capitol Mall, every second Wednesday of each month, 10-to-1 as a hiring event, to help employers hire people and help people get jobs. And with Moore's Packaging, Walmart, Dollar General, Department of Corrections, Public Health, Lincoln University, and Missouri Department of Revenue, will be hiring.
Good.
And if you want flyers, you know.
Good.
Evening Rotary's getting ready for the 4th of July.
Oh,
A year
really?
from now.
Okay.
We've got a great place to view the fireworks for private estate. Talk to me if you want an invitation.
Okay. Anybody else around the room? Okay, here.
First of all, I can't think of better ambassadors for the library. We're very lucky to have our enthusiasm. Announcements, August 5th, which is a Friday, is Jefferson City Fire Department Firefighters Local Golf Tournament. So if you want to sponsor, see a local firefighter, that usually sells out, but they are still taking sponsors. And then on August 27th is Guns and Hoses, and that's the hockey tournament where police and fire have a benefit or safety net. So you can also sponsor a player, and please feel free to contribute to either of those. Thank you. And don't ask me if it's Team Guns or Team Hoses, but I'm gonna.
Good. Anybody else in the room? Anybody online want to unmute themselves and make an announcement? Waiting for you. Yeah, anything in the chat, Rebecca? Okay, well, I guess we'll call it a Friday coffee then. Thanks again for everybody being here. Thanks to our sponsors and our presenters.
Oh, yes.